Behind me are 10 common four-wheel drive and travel accessories that are quite expensive. And all these have an alternative that's far more affordable that'll do the exact same task, and in some cases might actually suit your needs much better. 9 out of these 10 I've actually practiced myself for the last few decades. 5 of those I'm still doing now. So what are they? It's not cheap versus expensive, it's about showing completely different options to suit any budget that'll still do the same job. Are any of those items something that you really want yourself? We'll start from the bottom and we'll work our way up to the top. The average saving, if you were to do every single one, will be nearly $20,000. I'm not kidding. Coming in at number 10, the satellite phone. This cost me about $1,160 the first year, $360 a year just to have this activated. You could save about $900 already in the first year if you didn't get one of these and you got one of these instead. This is a personal locator beacon, a PLB. This will actually save your life faster than this will. You need to acquire a signal with the satellite phone and then you have to dial it in. So by the time you do that, it's about 2 minutes gone. This is more or less instant. You open it up, you activate it. The only thing is, you can't make a phone call with this bad boy here.
Can I get a pepperoni pizza with no anchovies?
Delivery or pickup?
Delivery to Middle of Nowhere Creek, postcode LOST.
You can only save your ass. Which means if you have vehicle problem that you could get sorted with some parts perhaps, that's where this will come in handy, but you're paying a lot more for it. Now unfortunately the satellite that operates with this service is down. It fell out of the sky, I'm not even kidding. So this is now a brick. The full onboard air system. Now these are absolutely awesome, they're cool, they're so fast, they pump your tyres up in no time. And I'm talking about something like the twin compressor I have in my Troopy. But currently I'm running an alternative, portable air compressor. For half the price, no need to install it, very convenient. You see, mounting a full onboard air system, you wouldn't go through all that effort to put in a measly little compressor. You would put in the big boy, the twin. Perhaps you'd add the air tank as well. That hardware costs a lot more than a single compressor. Number 9 will save you approximately $1,400, maybe even more depending on what your choice is. And this is what I'm using at the moment. I don't exactly have small tyres either, they're 35-inch tyres on a 16-inch rim. There is a big volume of air in there. It doesn't take that much longer. People who kit out their vehicle, they often want a dual battery system. And they're bloody awesome because you don't have to worry about any of your power needs afterwards. You can charge it while you're driving your car, you can now run your fridge, but it does cost a fair bit, upwards of maybe $3,000. Labour is quite intensive with a dual battery system. If you can do it yourself, that's a different matter. And this is a very technical area. You want to get it right. You're playing with high 12-volt current. You don't want to get that wrong. But most people can't do this. Let's say you go for the full dual battery system in your vehicle versus a portable battery system. That'll save you about half the cost. Somewhere between 100 to 150 amp hours of lithium power you can get for about $1,500 that's in a contained box. The only thing is you have to charge it with a 240-volt charger at home. You can't really charge it out on the road unless you have a solar blanket, which means you've got to be parked up. So that's the only catch. But if that's not a problem for you, go to portable battery system. Much cheaper, a lot less complicated, and you can pull it out whenever you like. And it's something I've been doing for a little while. 135 amp hours of lithium power. However, I've now upgraded it so it's wired into the vehicle, but it's still portable, which then adds a bit more cost, but you can do it over time. The off-road navigation, the aftermarket version. You can get a HEMA, you can get a Garmin, whatever it is, they cost a fair bit of money. My Garmin's cost me about just shy of $1,000. Now there is a new one that's really cool. It's about $2,000, even more I think. So what's the alternative? Well, the alternative could save you up to $1,700 if you're going for like that big $2,000 one. But it does require you to have a spare iPad or any tablet lying around, which you can just put some software on. For about $300, you can get some decent off-road software, which allows you to run offline maps and you can navigate wherever you like. Now this is one of those major things I noticed through my modified show.
Navigation I run.
That's what I run all my navigation on.
Almost every single person who was on modified used a tablet or their phone instead. they didn't have a navigation system.
Probably about 3 or 4 years old.
And it just goes to show you don't need the fancy nav systems to get out there and get around. And you shouldn't rely on them either. You should always bring a paper map. Spare tip there for you. They're much cheaper as well. One more thing you need to consider. You've got to have some kind of way of mounting that device, and that's going to possibly add another $80 to $100. We're at number 6, and this is where we're starting to save some big dollars. Roof rack versus roof bars. Roof bars will do almost the same job as a roof rack, except for so much cheaper. We're talking about $1,800 to maybe $2,000 cheaper. If you are able to put roof bars across your car, you can pretty much put anything on there and you'll actually have more roof rating left over. You don't have to deduct the weight of the rack. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, check out the roof rack video I did. That explains everything you need to know. For instance, if you're putting a rooftop tent on, why have a roof rack and then a rooftop tent on top of that rack?
My point is you can almost achieve the same result from roof bars rather than paying the extra money for the roof rack.
Carrying swags, tents, kayaks, anything long, anything that's not too short, you can have on roof bars. The only things you can't put up there are gas bottles and jerry cans. It can be a little bit problematic, although you could be a bit clever and add a few more bars and that might get you by. But if you are going to carry jerry cans and gas bottles and things like that, then you probably should stick with a roof rack. Coming in at number 5, this one seems obvious, but a lot of people just go and do it because they think they need it, but really, they don't. Take my 76 series for an example. I have it booked in for a tank replacement. It's currently 130 litres, replacing it with 180 litres. It's only a 50 litre gain. It may not seem like much, but it's going to give me quite a bit of distance. But the cost is $2,000 just to do this exercise. Whereas if I went 2 20 litre jerrys and a 10 litre jerry, I would get the 50 litres as well, and it would cost me well under $400. And that would include a diesel pump, so I can actually pump it into the tank without having to hold the jerry cans up. So yes, I'm going for the extended fuel range, but most people don't need it. They could just carry those jerrys for those specific trips. Coming in at number 4, the winch. And the alternative to the winch is going to save you about $3,100, depending on how many you get. What would be the alternative to a winch? I wonder. A winch, self-recovery. Recovery boards, self-recovery. I myself have been relying on just these because I don't have a winch. And these will get you out of likely more situations than a winch ever would. Where are you going to anchor to when you're on the beach, on the sand? Let me ask you this, would you rather spend hours removing your spare tyre and burying it into the sand? Or do you want to just get some recovery tracks out and then claw yourself out? I know what I would say, and I'm pretty sure I know what you would say too. And of course, yes, there are some instances where you would really need a winch. I just spent 4 hours crossing a river. But how often is that really? These tracks will get you out most of the time. Lining up the cost, the winch itself, the installation, it is good practice to put a high amp isolation switch in there too, right? So that's got to be added onto it. And then your recovery system. You need the bag with all the other extra bits and pieces, extension straps, all that kind of stuff. That all adds up. We're now into the top 3. And this next one is the hard shell rooftop tent. Many people really want a hard shell rooftop tent. I've had a few myself. They're awesome. You don't have to worry about the rain. You can close it whenever. It's so much easier. It just opens up and it closes. And yes, of course, you can get some that are about $1,000 or $2,000, but as I said from the beginning, we're not comparing cheaper of the same to the expensive of the same.
This isn't a good brand name one or anything like this. This is a budget one. It's awesome, but it's a headache.
I am bringing up alternative options that are of equal quality. No, I'm not going to give you the alternative of having a swag on the ground. No, we're staying off the ground. And no, I'm not going to say a stretcher either. The soft rooftop tent. Many people might not think about this. So what's the difference? Well, first of all, the price is nearly half, actually less than half, for a decent soft rooftop tent. But the work involved in setting it up, It's probably about double the work. In fact, some of these you will actually get more space as well compared to a hard shell. See, a hard shell just goes up and down. It doesn't expand out. Soft rooftop tents, they fold out and they give you far greater space. So for a family of 4 with
tent on a roof is a 4-man tent. It's quite a big RTT or rooftop tent.
2 small kids, that can work much better than a hard shell. Now I personally, instead of going the rooftop, I'd just bring a swag instead, but that's me, and that would save a lot more money too. But again, that's me. If you want to be off the ground, you want to be off the ground. The cons of having a soft rooftop tent: greater wind resistance on the road because it's bulkier, it packs a bit bigger, and you can't really pack your bedding inside it. Opening it and closing it, that's probably the worst thing. Climbing around on your car and you're getting a bit dirty. Whereas the hard shell, you just open close it.
Yeah.
But we're talking twice the price. There's your alternative. Coming in at number 2, the 270-degree awning. They are awesome, they're epic. I'm talking freestanding, I'm not talking about those you got pegged down. I mean, what is the bloody point of those? It's just... If you're gonna spend money on a 270 awning, get a freestanding one. Get one that's a good quality as well, because if you go inferior on those, you're probably gonna cry twice.
Talking about how much you can save by not getting a 270 awning.
Somewhere between $2,000 and nearly $4,000. I'm not going to compare the Australian made to a cheap awning that's come in with lesser material. I'm going to compare this to the portable gazebo. You will save yourself a ton of money. Get a gazebo. You can get 2 different sizes. You can get a massive one. This will also allow you to have a base camp, which means you don't have to pack up the whole vehicle when everyone wants to go for a bit of a day drive. And again, it might not be as convenient, but it depends on your needs. Because if you are a base camper, it's actually more convenient than having a 270 awning. If you're a person that moves constantly, then a 270 awning, you're better off. And if we're just talking about a straight pull-out awning, you're probably better off with just $120 straight pull-out awning than having a gazebo, because it's attached to the car, it's always going to be there. The added bonus of not having a 270-degree awning is not needing a roof rack. If you are going with the roof bars and you are going with the gazebo, well, guess what? You've saved yourself $4,000 to $6,000. Well done. And you can still put an awning on the vehicle, which can stretch out to your gazebo. Ooh, that's a big camp you got now. Number 1, biggest cost saver of all. Instead of a big custom drawer fit out in the back of your wagon, inside your canopy, on your ute, or in the back of your troopy, or whatever it is you're building, boxes. Simple boxes. This will save you in upwards of $3,000, $3,500, maybe even $4,000, depending on what setup you have. Not only that, you can make your vehicle much more versatile. Specific boxes for work, specific boxes for play. You want to have the dog in the vehicle. You can remove all of these things and you have so much more space.
I pull all these out. This is basically, it's all color coded. So these are our clothes and that sort of stuff. This is all our recovery and sort of camping gear, food and...
Now, of course, I'm not saying don't go for the full drawer system. Maybe that's what your needs require. You're touring around Australia, you're living out of this vehicle, you want things organized. You want stuff right there. In this drawer, you want certain things, and in the other drawer, you want other things. I get it. I'm just giving you some alternatives. And this is one that I practice myself. My 76 series, the rear of it is so much more versatile. A nice finished drawer system setup. They look awesome, I will admit that. Challenge your own thoughts on your vehicle build. How can you save some money? Which is the best option for you? And if you can think of some other things that I haven't spoken about, put them down below. Thanks for watching, see you next time.